Welcome back, everyone, to the Bond Report. We are diving into an episode of The Bond today, and this one really had some stuff that I thought was pretty fascinating. You know the show The Bond, right? With Joe Bond.
She's the one always going on those like nature adventures, like showing us how to live sustainably, and she always looks fantastic doing it. Every time I watch her, I want her wardrobe.
Oh yeah, totally. She always looks great.
Yeah.
But it's not just like the way it looks, although it is very inspiring. It's like the people she connects with. They're doing really amazing things. Like in this episode has this dog trainer and behaviorist named Tabitha.
Oh, cool.
From All Big Canines.
Okay. Dog training is so interesting. You know, it's amazing how much we can learn about how animals communicate just from dogs.
Oh, for sure. Well, Tabitha doesn't just train dogs.
Oh.
She also works with pigs.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me tell you, some of the stuff she was talking about really made me think about human behavior, too.
Really? I mean, pigs and dogs are like totally different animals. Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, she talks about how pigs don't have impulse control. And one of the techniques she uses is hula hoops. Can you imagine that?
What? Hula hoops? For pigs?
Yeah. Like, you know, they love to eat.
Oh, yeah. They're always rooting around for food.
Exactly. So, like, got to teach them boundaries.
So the hula hoops are like a boundary.
Yes. A physical boundary.
That is brilliant.
So they learn to respect personal space.
Right.
And boundaries. And it really made me think about like human interaction too. We could all use like a hula hoop reminder sometime.
Totally. Especially these days.
Like respect each other's space.
Yeah. It's like Tabitha's whole approach is like understanding their instincts and then like channeling that into good behavior.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like she doesn't shy away from the hard stuff either.
Right.
She talks about her experience with behavioral euthanasia.
What's that?
It's basically when like a dog is put down.
Yeah.
Because of its behavior problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must have been hard to see.
It is. And it's actually what got her into this whole thing. Understanding dog behavior. You know, she was like, we got to help these dogs.
Yeah.
Before it gets to that point.
Right. It's so sad because like I think people don't really understand dog behavior.
Yeah.
Like they just think dogs are being stubborn or bad.
All the time. People are like, my dog just won't listen. But Tabitha says, there's always a reason for their behavior.
Could be anything.
It could be fear, anxiety, lack of training, even medical problems.
Oh, wow.
It's like you have to look deeper than just the behavior you see.
It's like a puzzle.
Exactly.
You have to figure out the cause so you can help them.
And then once you understand why, you can actually help them in a way that's effective and compassionate.
Right. I'm glad she focuses on positive reinforcement too. Like punishment doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it might work for a little bit, but it doesn't solve the real problem. And it could hurt your bond with the dog.
Yeah. She's really big on that. Like building a strong relationship with the dog.
Yeah. That makes sense. It makes you think, like, maybe we could use that with people too. Like, you know, when we have conflict, more empathy instead of just blaming people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think we can learn a lot from how animals interact.
For sure.
It's a lot. Cooperation.
Yeah.
Mutual understanding.
Yeah.
And Tabitha says, like, you can't treat all dogs the same. They're all different.
Right.
Just like people.
Each dog has its own personality and needs.
She even talks about how a dog's breed can affect their behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she has this example of an Australian Shepherd.
Yeah.
In downtown L.A.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's herding instincts. We're not working so well.
I can see that.
In the city.
Yeah. A dog like that, they need a lot of activity and mental stimulation to be happy in a city.
Yeah.
So it's about figuring out how to meet their needs no matter where they live.
And that's where training and socialization come in. It's about teaching them how to be safe and confident in the human world.
And how to express their natural instincts in a healthy way.
It's fascinating how training and behavior are connected.
Yeah. It's not just about teaching them tricks. It's about understanding who they are.
Exactly.
And helping them live a good life.
And that's what Tabitha is so good at. She just connects with them on their level.
She really has a gift.
She does. And one of the things she talked about that I hadn't thought about much before is mental health in dogs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She even said dogs can get depressed.
Really?
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
It makes sense though, right?
I guess so.
They feel loss, grief, anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Just like we do.
They just show it differently.
Right. So you have to pay attention to their behavior. And she said it's important to make sure it's not a medical problem because sometimes physical problems can look like behavior problems.
Right.
So you have to rule that out first.
That makes sense.
It's all connected.
It is.
Physical health, mental health, environment, reality.
Yeah.
You got to look at the whole picture
The whole dog.
to really help them.
And that's what I love about Tabitha's work.
You too.
She's not just training them, she's helping them live better lives.
Exactly.
And teaching us about compassion
Yeah.
and empathy.
And understanding.
It's amazing what we can learn from someone who works with animals.
It really is.
It reminds us we're all connected.
We
And
are.
our actions affect everyone.
They do. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part.
Our deep dive.
Into this episode of The Bond. We've learned a lot about dog behavior and training.
Well, wait, we haven't even talked about the pigs yet.
Okay.
I want to hear more about those hula hoop shenanigans.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
And you said something about pig training being relevant to humans, too.
Well,
Okay, good.
we'll talk about all of that in the next part.
Of our deep dive.
I can't wait. Okay, so
Pigs.
pigs, you were
Pigs.
saying. Tabitha had some stuff about pig training that was relevant to human behavior. Yeah. Like one of the big things was patience and consistency.
Okay.
Because pigs, not really known for their impulse control.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
They're all about instant gratification.
Exactly. So she's like, you got to be really clear
Yeah.
with your communication.
Okay.
And like, don't expect them to do things that go against their nature.
Right. It's like you got to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Not try to make them into something they're not.
Totally.
Which is good life advice in general.
It is.
For all species.
And she was saying, pigs are superfood motivated,
Oh, yeah.
which can be good,
I bet.
but also
Yeah.
a challenge.
Yeah. Especially when you're talking about those hula hoops.
Oh, right. The hula hoops.
I mean, that's genius.
It is. That's like, they're all crowding around, trying to get the food.
Yeah.
And the hula hoop
Yeah.
creates that space.
That boundary.
Yeah.
So they don't trample each other.
Yeah.
It's like a visual cue.
It is.
To help them.
And it's not just about the food.
Right.
It's about teaching them
Mm.
self-control,
Uh-huh.
respect for boundaries, which, you know,
Yeah.
we could all use a little more of that.
Totally. Those hula hoops are like a metaphor for life.
Right. Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries in all areas.
So we're learning life lessons from pigs.
We are.
I love it.
So what else does she say about pigs? Oh, yeah. They're really smart
Sure.
and curious,
Uh-huh.
but also easily distracted.
I can see that.
Their natural instinct is to, like, root around,
Yeah.
explore.
Explore.
So it can be hard to keep their attention.
I bet pig training is never boring.
I'm sure it's not, so she said. You got to make it fun,
Okay.
engaging, lots of positive reinforcement,
Uh-huh.
but also games and activities that play to their strengths.
Right. Work with their nature, not against it.
Exactly.
And that's true for people too.
It is.
Learning should be fun.
It should be.
And not a chore.
It's not just about commands and obedience. It's about building a relationship.
Just respect.
Respect. Understanding.
Yes.
So animal training is more than just
It is.
training. It's
Yeah.
about connection.
It is.
And recognizing
Yeah.
that they're individuals.
Yes.
Just like us.
With their own personalities
and
and needs.
quirks.
And the best trainers adapt their methods to the animal.
Yeah. Not the other way around.
I'm telling you, we could all learn a lot from Tabitha.
I think so too.
I'm already thinking how I can use some of this in my own life.
You too?
Maybe I need a hula hoop for when my willpower is low.
Haha. I love it. But seriously, we can learn so much from animals.
You can.
Like
Yeah.
communication, empathy, living in the moment.
It's like they have this wisdom.
That we forgot.
Yeah,
about
that
all.
connected. One of the big things from this episode is that animals can help us connect with other humans.
Oh, yeah.
Remember she was saying dogs are like social catalysts.
Yeah, they bring people together
Uh-huh. Like people will stop and talk to someone
Right.
with a dog.
more than they would to someone
Right.
without a dog.
It's like the dog breaks the ice.
Yeah.
Creates common ground.
And I've definitely noticed that, like, I'll be out with my dog and
Mhm.
people will just
Yeah.
start talking to me.
Yeah.
It's amazing how something so simple, like a wagging tail,
Mm.
can create that connection
It really is. It's like a ripple effect
of positivity.
of joy.
And speaking of impact, I was thinking about Tabitha's story about how she got into dog training.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she was working as a vet assistant,
Uh-huh.
and she saw all these dogs being put down.
Because of their behavior.
Yeah,
That must have been so hard for her.
it was. And she realized that we need to address these problems early on,
Right.
before it's too late.
Preventative care.
Exactly.
Maybe behavior problem.
And she was like, I got to do something to help these dogs.
And that's what she's doing.
She is.
It's amazing how one person can make such a difference.
It really is.
And I think that's why Joe Bond wanted her on the show.
Yeah.
Because she's not just a trainer,
So-
just an advocate.
For their well-being.
It's inspiring.
It is. It makes you want to do something too.
To make the world a better place
For everyone.
for humans and animals.
Exactly.
We're all in this together.
We are.
Speaking of being together,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about the snake avoidance training.
Oh, right. That was one of the first things
Yeah.
I mentioned.
I'm really curious about that
It's pretty interesting.
because it can be dangerous,
They can.
especially in certain areas.
Right, like where there are rattlesnakes.
Mm-hmm.
And she has this method that focuses on
Mhm.
scent recognition
Okay.
and learned disobedience.
Learned disobedience. What's that?
Yeah, so it's like teaching the dog to avoid snakes
Mm.
based on smell, not fear.
Okay.
So they learn
Yeah.
to make good decisions, even when you're not there.
So they can protect themselves.
Exactly, because like
Yes. How?
the old way of doing it
Mm.
was all about fear,
Oh, yeah.
like shock collars, make the dog afraid of snakes.
But that doesn't seem very nice.
It's not. And Tabitha says it can actually backfire.
Really?
Yeah. Because the dog might get more anxious and reactive around snakes.
Because they associate snakes with pain? and
Exactly.
like-
They could hurt
Yeah.
their trust in you,
Yeah.
which is like the most important thing.
Is.
So her method is all about positive reinforcement
Okay.
and like
Yeah.
building a positive
It's
association.
something else.
Yeah. Like she uses citronella spray.
Oh, yeah.
Dogs don't like that smell.
Not at all.
So they learn
Huh.
to associate that smell with snakes.
So they avoid snakes
Mhm.
because they don't want to smell that.
It's like, hey, when you smell this, get out of there.
Yeah. Smart.
And it lets them make their own decisions.
Right. Based on that cue
They're not relying on you.
to tell them what to do.
Yeah,
Like they're
and
taking
on
responsibility
their own safety.
for their own well-being.
I really like that.
Me too. It's like she's really empowering them
She is.
to make good choices.
It all comes back to understanding the dog,
Yeah.
their perspective,
Yeah.
their instincts, and working with them, not against them,
It's not about control.
Yeah.
It's about collaboration.
Exactly.
Like mutual respect.
and recognizing
Yeah.
that they're individuals
Uh-huh.
with their own needs
Mm.
and personalities.
You know, this whole conversation has really got me thinking about
Up
that
and around.
animals and how much they can teach us.
Me too.
Like, I want to learn more about animal behavior
Me too.
and training.
All thanks to the Bond
Yeah.
and guests like Tabitha.
They're amazing.
I always learn so much from that show.
It's entertaining and inspiring.
It is.
Oh, you were talking about that website with the dog stuff.
Oh, yeah. XPFE, they had these mugs
Okay.
with different dog breeds on them.
Cool.
And on the back, there's a fun
How
fun.
about that breed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I love it.
I do love a good mug.
It's a great conversation starter.
It is.
It's like, you know, you're
Yeah.
having people over, they see your mug,
And then,
they ask about it,
yeah,
and then you get to talk about dogs.
I'm going to check it out.
You should.
XPFE.
That's it.
Maybe we can do a mug swap sometime.
Uh-huh. I love
Yeah.
it. A Bond Report mug exchange.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a wrap for this episode of the Bond Report. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of animal training and behavior. It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope you learned as much as I did.
It's been great. Until next time.
Until we bond again.